What's up guys, it's Rowan here from Artist Smart TV. One of the things that can happen is that you can get your HSC trial results back and they can look horrible. And there's many reasons for it. You know, the HSC trials are particularly hard in the first place. They're the first time you're examined on all of the Year 12 content in a single time. Schools mark incredibly difficultly as well. Now, the outcome here is that you might get a result back and it can be quite horrible and you can feel incredibly discouraged and want to quit. So in today's episode, I'm sitting down and chatting with Chloe. Now, Chloe scored 58% in her trials for modern history. And so you can imagine that a result like that would probably send sort of palpitations through almost anyone in terms of, oh no, what is going to happen for my HSC? Now, in a short window of time, Chloe was able to turn things around. She ended up achieving an 86% for modern history in her HSC, which was a staggering 28% mark turnaround. And so we're going to sit down and find out from Chloe just what that journey looked like and what were some of the specific strategies she implemented to turn things around so that if you find yourself in a similar situation with trials not looking that great, you'll know what to do as well. So welcome, Chloe.
Hello.
58% in trials. That must have been pretty scary to get that mark back. When you saw it on the page, like you got it back, you saw 58%, what went through your mind?
I was like, oh my gosh, this can't be real. Because I'd put in so much effort.
And modern, it was one of your favourite subjects, is that right?
My favourite subject, yeah.
So was that a kick in the guts, like your favourite subject, and then you're getting this mark back, which is just above a pass?
Yeah.
Now, how had you gone in modern prior to that?
I had done like fairly well.
So it was a surprise, in other words, right? Like it was at odds with what you had been getting throughout the rest. So it was this one-off, like, whoa, where did this come from?
Yeah.
So what do you think went wrong? Like, where did that 58% come from?
I think I hadn't prepared enough for like one of the essays, like I think it was the Russia essay. I did not know what I was talking about.
And that really hurt?
Yeah.
So do you think that because it was a favoured subject, do you think that came from some complacency in the prep for trials? That, you know, look, they had all these other subjects that were really hard and modern was one that you loved and were doing relatively well, and so you just didn't do as much of the work as you should have? Is that what you think happened?
Yeah, I thought, you know, it's my favourite subject, like I'm going to be fine, but yeah, clearly not.
And that's the challenge with the HSC, isn't it? That you've got to do well over 10 units. So you got the result back. It's a bit of a kick in the sort of guts because it's your favourite subject and you haven't done very well. When you saw it and you sort of let it sit for a little bit, what did you want to do?
I just wanted to chuck it in the bin, not going to lie.
Like, I don't want to ever see this again. Get it out of my face. But you didn't. No. So then what changed? What had to happen for you to go from, I never want to see this again, this is horrible, to getting into gear, because clearly you did, to go, okay, let's turn this around?
So I spoke to Jess.
And so for confirmation, Jess is your Artist Smart tutor. She was helping you with English and modern history?
Yep. And like I sent her the feedback and we just like broke down each section and like saw like where I went wrong, what could have improved, like where I actually did go like well. But yeah, we just like went through.
And how did that help you? Like in terms of, I get obviously it helps identify what was good and bad, but just I guess from a mental and an attitude point of view, how did that help?
It relieved a lot of the anger and like frustration.
And why do you think it relieved the anger and the frustration?
Because like I was able to pinpoint like where I went wrong, but it was also like seeing where I actually did go right and like what actually helped me bounce back.
Yeah, so it gave you two things. Yeah. One, it sounds like it gave you the confidence that, okay, I'm not stupid. I've done well on some parts of this. Like there is not something wrong with me right now and I've had a brain explosion. Like actually I can do it well and I've got evidence here, which is great. It's always good to get a bit of confidence. And it sounds like on the flip side, what it gave you was also like another reaffirmation of I'm not stupid, because actually there's just a couple of things here that if I change, I can improve. Yeah. So what were the main things that went wrong that you realised, okay, for me to do better in my HSC, I'm going to need to fix?
I didn't have enough depth within my essays, and that's one thing that really like shocked me. And so like after going through the feedback with Jess, we like went through each of the components and really like took out the key points, what I needed to memorize and like add in my essays.
So it sounds like it was quite specific in detail, the approach. Like you had the syllabus in front of you.
Yeah.
You've looked at and you've taken the poor result as feedback.
Yeah.
To go, okay, well, for, let's say, because I know you said Russia in particular as an example was an area that you didn't do very well at. Then you've had the syllabus, you've looked at what you've written and gone, okay, based on that, this, and this on the syllabus is actually where I'm not so good at.
Yeah.
So it was really about identifying your weak areas.
Yeah.
Now, once you'd identified those weak areas, and it wasn't just for Russia, it sounds like you did that across the entirety of the course. What did you then do?
I got out the textbook. I would highlight key points like statistics, key people, dates, and write them on palm cards and continue to go through.
So it was sort of almost creating notes, but palm cards were the format that you chose for notes, and that was based on particularly, so were you doing that across the entire course or just on the areas that you didn't know very well that the trials revealed?
Just on the areas that I didn't know.
So again, because you don't have a lot of time really between trial and HSC. So rather than going, okay, I've got to start from scratch here, it was strategic in going, okay, where have I not done well? Well, that's what I'm going to focus, because if I fix that and I continue to take what I had done well, well, then that'll build on top and I should do a lot better. So you've then created these palm cards. How did you use the palm cards?
I'd write the question at the front, and then a essay question at the front, and then at the back I'd just write key dates, key people, and statistics.
And then how often would you study these?
Every week.
Yeah, and were you just taking it out, or were you getting someone to test you and quiz you on them? What?
I was just doing it myself.
Yep, doing it yourself. And was that just, what would you have a dedicated time period, or was it just in between? You're like, oh, I'll pull them out and do a bit of work?
In between, yeah.
And then were you writing any practice essays? Because modern is predominantly, it's a mixture of you need to know a lot of content and you just know how to write good essays. Were you writing practice essays?
Yeah, so I was trying to write one per week in time conditions with open book, yeah.
So your palm cards, your textbook, your school notes, etc. And then were you getting feedback on that?
Yeah, I was sending them to Jess.
Okay, so she was marking it, giving you feedback. And so it sounds like you would have written, something like 10 or so practice essays. Now, a couple of days before the sort of exams for modern, the HSC exams, what were you doing in those couple of days before?
I was doing a lot of just essay plans, because that really helped me, because the whole essay it was going to be tough to memorize the key points, but when I had it in one page on an essay plan, that really helped.
So and that also, I guess, enables you to get more exposure to more questions more quickly, because you're not spending a full 40 minutes. How long did you spend on an essay plan?
5 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So yeah, you would write 40, it might be 40 or 50 minutes on an essay, but you could then do one in 5, maybe 10 minutes if you were spending a bit more time on it. So you could do more questions across the course itself. And it sounds like just refresh some of your memory, because would you, when you were doing your plan, still pull out some of your notes, go, oh, yep, I should include that. And so then you did a lot of plans. Were you doing sort of more palm card work as well, the sort of couple of days before?
The couple of days before, I was looking through the palm cards. Yeah.
In the end, that's incredible. 86%. You must have been very proud at the end of that to get that result back, which was 28% turnaround. What advice would you have for students that maybe haven't done so well in modern in trials, in terms of what would you say to them for what they should do to turn things around?
I'd say keep going. I really found my love in Arab Israeli. So I don't know, just look for the good in modern history. Yeah.
So find what you love and use that to motivate you. Yeah. Amazing. And what was the best thing about working with your Artist Smart tutor, Jess, for modern history?
She gave me a lot of tips. We both loved Arab Israeli, so yeah, she really helped me.
It sounds like she just helped, particularly outside of the feedback loops she was giving you in all of your work. Yeah. It sounds like just helped you stay motivated, right? Because of a shared passion for parts of the subject, which is amazing. Awesome. Any other final comments you'd like to share for students in, just successfully navigating modern history as a subject?
Stay motivated. It doesn't look as bad as it seems if you get that mark. Just keep going.